Adam Masters, when you were in the Sea Org, did you believe what the church said about SPs? Did you really believe that it was the SPs, along with the psychiatrists and the government, who were preventing Scientology from clearing the planet? Did your view of SPs change over time when you were in the Sea Org, or was it only changed once you got out? Thanks for the question, Adam. Yes, I really believed it. Yep, I did. I actually thought that the suppressive people in the world were anti-Scientology and were working diligently to try to stop Scientology from what it was trying to do, which is saving the world. So, of course, we thought of these guys as bad people, and we were primed for that. Hubbard lays it all out, right? He tells you in no uncertain terms, these are bad, horrible, criminal elements. That's who SPs are. They're Dillinger, Hitler, Napoleon, serial killers, antisocials. I mean, this is SPs. And sure, of course, SPs could come along and look in the window of Scientology and come in and take a personality test and think to themselves, here's something I could mess up. Here's a group of people. See, this is how Hubbard describes it. He says, yeah, they come in and they look and sound like they want to do Scientology, but what they're really thinking, I'm gonna destroy this place. And they actually proceed forward as though this is a premeditated activity that they're engaged in, because Hubbard paints these picture of suppressive people as really self-aware, awful, evil people. Like, they know that they're trying to undo and destroy things. That's their mission in life. That's what gets them off. They love doing crap like that. So, of course, I would believe in SPs, because there really are SPs. I mean, there are people in the world who fit that definition of Hubbard's suppressive person. And they're awful people. And they really do exist. So why would I have any reason to doubt that some of them might not be so exaggerated as a Christie or a Hitler or a Napoleon? Maybe it's not quite that awful, right? But they come in and they look and sound normal. They have money, they have a job, they have a family, but there's something off, something wrong. And sure enough, of course, there is with some people. So sure, of course, I believed that was the case. Where I started breaking with the church and seeing kind of, wait a second, something's not right here, is after I got off the RPF. There were people who had been declared suppressive who I knew were not these antisocial criminal types. They were not evil people. They were not narcissistic. They were not awful. They were good people. And yet the church was having to declare them suppressive. And why? Well, because they disagreed, because they were speaking up, because they were not cooperating. They were not loyal. They were not loyal. And that was really the line in the sand. And that was the first sort of brick that sort of came out of the wall of stupidity in my head, right? That was keeping me from seeing the truth of the situation. Is when I started seeing, without question in my own mind, I knew this person and this person and this person had been declared suppressive, but they were not actually suppressive according to how Hubbard describes them. What's up with this? Well, they weren't loyal. Then there was somebody who was declared, who I had met and interacted with, and who had been so OG that L. Ron Hubbard had met and interacted and worked with this person. This was a Sea Org member. This was a high-level Sea Org member. And when I saw his declare order and read it, because I was like, I want to see this. This does not make sense to me. An OSA person had to come and sit down with me in a closed room and give me the issue and let me read it right there and then take it back. I couldn't keep it. I couldn't make copies, anything like that. And so I read this whole thing. I knew it was nonsense. Like, I couldn't tell. I was reading it and I was going, this isn't true. These things they're saying about him can't be true. And yet here they were saying them. And I thought, well, I know this person. I don't know them well. I didn't know them intimately, but I knew them well enough to know that these things the church was claiming about this person simply weren't true. And that was the real, oh my God. Now I see what's going on. These SP declares are being used to get rid of people who are just being noisy, who are just making waves, who are saying, hey, things aren't right here. Out, you're gone. And that's when the sort of the floodlights came on and the dawn, the sun rose, and I was like, oh, okay. This is wrong. This is bad. This is really bad. And that wasn't what caused me to leave the church, actually. But it was a major nail. It was actually one of the nails in the coffin, okay? It still took me about another 2 years to get my head out enough to fully get out. Because I didn't yet acknowledge all the lies. I thought maybe that was a particular problem in a particular area of Scientology having to do with the justice. But I thought other parts were still kind of rational and keeping together and doing the good job and doing the good work. And it took another 2 years to disabuse me of that. So that's kind of my own experience of that and how I live that. And that's how my view of SPs changed over time. And of course, once I left Scientology, once I got out of the Sea Org and read the full depth of just how long this had been going on, that Hubbard had been doing this shtick since the very beginning of creating the suppressive person doctrine. Well, that is when, I realized just how evil this group was that I had been involved in, right? But that was after I got out. So there you go.